Alright, update on FITFI. So I'm going to get this update out as quick as I can because as of the time of recording we are experiencing a parabolic breakout. Just like we did predict in our last video, we've got a huge influx of volume coming in and we are breaking out of the previous rejection point. So we're going to jump into the analysis in just 1 second. I did just want to show you some news on the Step app, and in my opinion this is why we're experiencing this huge rally. So we'll jump into the technicals in 1 second. For now, you can see that, I mean, the last time we checked the Step app Twitter, this had 110,000. We're now at 147,000, pushing on 148. So very bullish in terms of adoption. There's two other things I wanted to go through. You can see the Step app staking is coming live on Friday at 12 p.m. So I'm not going to go through everything this entails. I am going to try and get this video out as quickly as possible. If you did want to check this out, just go over to Twitter and type in Step app. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we do jump into the technicals is you can see, according to Lunacrush, FITFI is the #1 leader in social activity in the Avalanche ecosystem. We're completely outperforming all these other ones. Really not a surprise there, considering how much hype has been going into FITFI in the past week or so. So let's jump right into the technicals now. Starting off, I want to talk about your oscillators before we do jump into the trend, because looking at your oscillators, we did just have a very steep correction. I saw a lot of people get out of FITFI once we did come down here. We were doing the opposite. We were getting in around this blue line that I've got here at the 50 cent region. And since we did get in on our trade, we have been up 27%. We're now up 26%. So congratulations to everyone who was in my FITFI trade. Congratulations to everyone who got in. I'm going to be celebrating tonight with some champagne and baklava. Let me know how you're going to be doing it. But yeah, some very decent gains over here on FITFI. What I wanted to show you with the oscillators is if you look at the money flow indicator, obviously this is purely retail driven, so it does not take a lot of money to flow out the market for this to become completely reset. And what we're seeing right now is super bullish because, you know, your money flow indicator broke down very low. The relative strength index came down to the heart line and now it's having a bounce. So there is still a ton of money that can still flow into FITFI before we even get near to a top. You can see, as of the time of recording, we're literally about to take out the previous all-time high. And where were we when we were at the previous all-time high? Well, the money flow indicator was extremely overbought at the 93. Where are we right now? We're at 42. The closest we have been to 42 was when we were down here at 49, all the way down here at 27 cent. And from that, you know, we rallied 130%. So I really do think we are gearing up for that next big move over to the upside. If we look at the 4-hourly volume candles, definitely confirming this breakout in my opinion. Now let's come over to our momentum indicators. I'll get rid of these drawings on the channel. So if we start off with a 4-hour, I want to see we are perfectly back testing the 4-hourly EMAs. And this is interesting because I made a video previously on FITFI on my theory of, you know, how these move to earns rally, and they all rally so quickly and euphorically that they always hold the 4-hourly EMAs until we become bearish. And I pointed out, you know, we did exactly this on GMT, and to me FITFI looks like it's doing the exact same thing. I think we're going to have the same kind of chart. You've got a pump, accumulation range, pump, accumulation range, and I think we are going to see that next big pump to the upside. Where is my personal price targets? Well, I'm going to be scattering 2 buys in the market. I want to make sure that I'm going to be front running the market. So number 1, the first region where I do plan on taking a tiny bit of profit, I'd probably say maybe 33%, 25% of my chips off the table in this trade, and I would be taking that at the 4.236 Fibonacci retracement level. If you draw from the all-time high down to this low. No, I haven't drawn this wrong. I know a lot of people might be looking at this and thinking, you know, if you've got high there, why would you not draw it to this low? If you come over to the 1 hourly time frame, we actually bottomed before we spiked, so you would not be able to draw this fib from this high to this low. So we're running off this high and this low down here, and you can see we've moved, or we are going to move, in my opinion at least, all the way up to the 82 cent, which we were originally predicting all the way back here. We were talking about a 64% rally for FITFI. It did take its time, it took another 24 hours or so, but we are finally coming to that stage where we are breaking out. If you look at your 4-hourly squeeze mom, the bullish momentum was in play during this entire rally. Obviously the data didn't load in, but you know, we don't need to have the data loaded in to see that we were clearly bullish during this rally. You can see we topped out, we started to lose the momentum, we went into a bearish wave, and now as you can see the squeeze mom is turning dark red, indicative that we are about to roll over into our next trend. You can see when the trend turned dark green, it meant that we were rolling over into a bearish trend. We were right here and we rolled down, and now we've got the opposite. You're seeing dark red candles, which means we're about to roll over into a bullish trend. And in my opinion, this is gonna equate to something like this, where we might not come all the way up to $1. I feel like that might be a target to smash if and when this ever does go on Binance. A lot of people are asking me, you know, when is this going on Binance? When do I think it's going on Binance? I don't think anyone knows. I don't think it's been confirmed. Yes, you can look at the trading data on Binance, but you can't buy it yet. So I've looked everywhere. It's not being confirmed on Binance. A lot of people are saying, you know, FITFI on Binance, FITFI on Binance, and unless I'm missing something, which, you know, I might be, I don't have eyes everywhere. I do not believe this is confirmed at this moment in time. So if we come over to the 1 hourly time frame, because like I said, we're supported by the 4 hourly EMAs, coming over to the daily, like we always say. I mean, we can't really do a lot of analysis on this when we've only got like 7 candles. But what I will point out from this alone is we've got the second most bullish day in terms of, you know, these bullish engulfing candles that we're seeing right now. And I would like to just put it out there that at least where I am, it's only 4 p.m, so we could continue to get this volume pressing in for FITFI. I'm really happy with what we're seeing at this moment in time. Now, if we come over to the 1 hourly time frame, this is where things get very, very interesting, because we had this huge spike in volume as they announced the step app staking. So this is really interesting. The FITFI early adopters start earning sneak NFTs. This is it seems very interesting in my opinion. I really do like the idea of this. Nonetheless, you know, they're talking about, you know, obviously app staking. So this is going to lock up more of the supply. More people are going to keep on running in and buying. People are going to be staking. I think this is going to have a face tear. And, you know, just to be transparent as well, like I said, I am in a trade for FITFI right now. I did get in down here at the 50-cent region. So just being transparent and letting you know that I do hold this. If we come over to the 1 hourly time frame, sorry, this is our oscillators. This is where we want to be. So if we come over to the 1 hourly time frame, in my opinion, I would really like to see us flip the 2.618 Fibonacci. You can see previously this was, you know, resistance, then we hopped above it, it was support, we broke below, resistance, and then we came down, we finally got above it. So we are now sitting above this region at the time of recording this, which is why I'm saying I want to get this out as quickly as possible, because, you know, if we do come down, we do back test this region and we start turning up again, you know, I would personally be looking for FITFI breaking above the 64-cent region. I think if FITFI back tests, which it pretty much already has, and then it manages to flip 64 cent, I think we'd be running up to some higher price targets within the next day, 48 hours or so. That's just my opinion. If we are drawing this from a technical perspective in terms of your Fibonacci's, let's see, did we run back to your 618? So yeah, the downtrend really was subsided by the time we got down to this region. If we zoom out, I want to see if there's any other confluence coming in at that 618 fib. So there's not a lot, to be honest. No, there's not a lot of confluence on the Fibonacci's. So your 0.5 nicely lines up with your EMA ribbons. I'd say, to be honest, you know, that your most bullish situation, I'm going to get rid of this fib because I personally would not like to see this go back to your 618s, because we'd be back in the accumulation range before the last drop. If we look at what's going on right now, there's either two things that I want to see. In the most bullish scenario, if you want higher price targets like this 82 cent by the end of today, by the end of tomorrow, then I do think we need to come down to 60 cent, have a bullish impulse, break above 64 cent, which was your previous invalidation in this micro impulse, and also it was your top roundabout here. If we draw it from the candle body closes, make it a little bit thicker, you can see this trend line here is really where we need to get above. So, you know, we've already come down and pretty much back tested. If we come down to the 5-minute time frame, let's see what we're doing. So yeah, in the past 10 minutes we came back down, pretty much back tested it. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we came down. You've also got the 5-minute EMAs supporting this uptrend. I really don't want to focus on, you know, 5-minute EMAs. It's not really my style. It's a little bit too degenerative for me. I like looking at the higher time frames. But worst comes to worst, what happens if we do not hold this 60-cent region? Well, in my opinion, I would like to see at least these hourly EMA ribbons hold, and that means that if we do come down, I'd like to see 55 cent hold at the absolute lowest. Now, if we come over to the 4-hour, you can still technically see 51 cent is supported, but at least historically, you know, you come down, you back test the short-term moving average, and then, you know, you have this rally, and then we had one big bull candle to the upside. So when does this end? Oh, this is already ending. So I do expect, at least in the short term, we might be topping out. And what I mean by the short term is previously you can see, you know, you have these big wicks up and then you just take like a day or so to accumulate to the side. In this instance, it was a big wick and then it was 4, 8, 12, 16 hours and you were making new all-time highs. So when I say in the short term we could have topped out, what I really mean is I think it'd be the healthiest for the market if we just decided to chop around to the side for a bit. It would allow your hourly EMAs to catch up with the previous invalidation point, and it would also allow the 4 hourly EMAs to have a nice push back up to the upside, meaning that if we did finally come down, or, you know, hypothetically if we go sideways for the next 12 hours, you'll once again run back into your short-term moving average, and then I reckon that is where we'd be running up. But I would not be betting on FITFI going sideways. I would not bet on FITFI going down. Like I said, my money is currently where my mouth is. I really like the squeeze momentum. I love how the bulls are taking this over. I love the bullish volume that we're seeing on this. I love that they've announced staking. The fact that this has only been announced 44 minutes ago, the fact that, you know, their followers are going up by the minute. When we looked at this earlier, it was 147.7, and, you know, it's just the hype is just non-stop on this. I mean, what is Steppen? This is almost half of Steppen, so if Steppen's 300,000, it should be half, so it's almost half. That's, I mean, that it's definitely stolen a lot of hype. And the Step app even got a mention from Forbes. So if you go on Google and type in Forbes FITFI, you should see there was an article and they talked about them. So I'm going to wrap up the video here. I do want to get this out as quickly as possible. I did just want to give a in-depth perspective of what I think is going on with your oscillators, what's going on with these chart patterns that we've previously seen on other move to earns like Green Metaverse. I wanted to update you on the fundamental news like the staking, the followers, the social metrics, and then obviously we jumped into the price, looked at the TA. Judging by what we're doing right now, it really looks like we're gearing up for that breakout to the upside. So like I said, the most healthy thing for it to do is chop sideways, but these move to earns, most of the time they do not do what's healthiest for them. They just rally until they pop. So, you know, like I said, 64 cent, keep your eyes on it. If you're watching this video and we're pushing heavily above 64 cent, you know, I think we might be getting ready for those big moves to the upside. So like I said, why I personally plan on taking the majority of my profit is, well, when I say the majority of my profit, I'm going to try and front run the market. I think a lot of people have their eyes on $1. So I'm personally going to keep my eyes on this region here. I'll mark it blue, so you know this is where I'm taking profit, because previously I marked this trend line down here dark blue, so you know that's where it comes from. So this is personally what I see for FITFI. I think we're going to higher price targets. The other day we predicted a 64% increase to be going on in the next week or so for FITFI, and as of the time of recording we are up 26%. This is 26% on my trade. I'm definitely very happy with this. Like I said, I'm going to be celebrating with some baklava, some champagne. Maybe we even get a lobster tonight. Let me know what you guys are going to be doing. As always, not financial advice. Cowboy out. And most importantly, you know what I'm going to say. Peace.